If there's one country that challenges everything the modern world believes about success, it's Bhutan. While most nations compete to grow their GDP, the measure of wealth and production, Bhutan has a very different goal: to grow gross national happiness. Tucked high in the Himalayas, between India and China, this tiny kingdom has quietly built a life philosophy that the rest of the world is only beginning to understand. Today we're going to explore what it's really like to live in Bhutan, the only country that measures progress not by money, but by happiness. The kingdom in the clouds. Bhutan is one of the most isolated countries in the world, and that's part of its magic. With a population of less than 1 million, it sits in the eastern Himalayas, surrounded by some of the planet's most breathtaking landscapes: misty valleys, snow-capped peaks, and monasteries perched on cliffs. For centuries, Bhutan remained closed to outsiders. Its isolation helped preserve its culture, religion, and environment. Even today, it feels like a place where time moves differently, not backward, but intentionally slower. The philosophy of gross national happiness. In 1972, Bhutan's fourth king, Jigme Singye Wangchuck, made a statement that shocked the world. Gross national happiness is more important than gross domestic product. Instead of measuring how much money people make, Bhutan measures how well they live, through health, education, community, environment, and cultural values. This philosophy isn't just symbolic. It shapes government policy, education, and everyday life. Every new project, from roads to schools, is evaluated not by profit, but by how much happiness it brings to the people. Chi. The spiritual heartbeat of the nation Bhutan is the world's last Vajrayana Buddhist kingdom, and spirituality shapes every aspect of daily life. Prayer flags flutter across valleys, monks chant in ancient temples, and meditation is a normal part of the rhythm of living. The belief that material wealth is temporary runs deep. Bhutanese people focus instead on compassion, mindfulness, and respect for all living things. It's not uncommon to see people walk clockwise around stupas or spin prayer wheels as they pass. Small acts of daily devotion. Simplicity over excess. Modern life teaches us to want more. Bhutan quietly teaches the opposite. Homes are modest, built with timber and stone, often painted with colorful traditional patterns. People grow vegetables in backyard gardens. Handicrafts, weaving, and farming are still common professions. There's pride in simplicity, and even city dwellers in Thimphu, the capital, maintain strong ties to their rural roots. The happiness index in action, gross national happiness, isn't an abstract idea. It's tracked using a detailed national survey that includes 9 domains: psychological well-being, health education, time use, cultural diversity, good governance, community vitality, ecological resilience, and living standards. Officials use this data to adjust policies. For example, investing more in community centers or protecting forests if those areas affect well-being. It's one of the only systems in the world where emotional and spiritual health are considered government priorities. The greenest country on Earth, Bhutan is the only carbon-negative country in the world. That means it absorbs more carbon than it emits. Over 70% of the country is covered by forest, and the Constitution requires it to never drop below 60%. Hydropower from clean mountain rivers provides nearly all of its electricity, much of which is exported to India. Plastic bans are strict, and environmental education starts in schools. Bhutan's environmental commitment isn't driven by politics. It's rooted in a spiritual belief that harming nature harms oneself. A slow approach to modernization. Television only arrived in Bhutan in 1999. The internet followed the same year. Yet the country has balanced modernization with tradition in remarkable ways. You'll see monks checking smartphones beside ancient temples, or farmers using modern irrigation systems while still performing rituals for good harvests. the pace of modernization is cautious by design. Bhutan's leaders have long believed that change should happen slowly to avoid losing identity in the rush toward development. 8. Dress and identity. One of the first things visitors notice is how people dress. Bhutanese citizens are required by law to wear traditional clothing in public and government offices. Men wear a go, a knee-length robe tied at the waist, while women wear a kira, a long hand-woven dress with intricate patterns. These garments aren't costumes. They're daily reminders of national pride and unity. 9. Education and values. Education is free in Bhutan, and it's about much more than academics. Schools teach values like respect, empathy, and mindfulness alongside math and science. Meditation is often part of the school day. The goal is not just to produce workers, but balanced human beings, people who can live wisely and happily. 10. The role of monasteries. Monasteries are not just places of worship. They are community centers, schools, and sanctuaries. Many families send their sons to become monks, at least for a few years, to gain discipline and spiritual grounding. Life in a monastery is simple: early prayers, study, and meditation. But even outside monastery walls, spirituality remains deeply embedded in daily life. The rhythm of daily life. Bhutanese life moves with the seasons. In rural areas, farming still dominates. Rice terraces, yak herding, and apple orchards are common sights. Villagers gather for festivals known as tsekus, where masked dancers reenact stories from Buddhist mythology. These festivals are colorful, sacred, and social all at once, moments when entire communities come together. In cities, daily life feels peaceful and orderly. Crime is rare, and people greet each other with respect and calm. Health and well-being. Healthcare in Bhutan is free for all citizens, reflecting the country's belief that well-being is a public good, not a privilege. Clinics reach even remote mountain areas, often with help from mobile health teams. Traditional medicine, rooted in Tibetan and Ayurvedic principles, still plays an important role. Herbs and mindfulness are often prescribed alongside modern treatments, a blend of ancient wisdom and modern science. The challenges of happiness. Of course, Bhutan is not a perfect paradise. Economic growth is limited, youth unemployment exists, and rural poverty persists in some areas. Internet exposure has also brought modern anxieties: comparison, materialism, and a generation gap between elders and youth. But Bhutan confronts these issues with self-awareness. The government acknowledges that happiness is not the absence of hardship, but the ability to live meaningfully despite it. Tourism with limits. Bhutan carefully controls tourism through a high-value, low-impact policy. Visitors must pay a daily sustainable development fee, currently $100 to $200 per day, which supports conservation and local communities. This system prevents over-tourism and helps preserve authenticity. For travelers, it means fewer crowds and a deeper connection with the culture. For locals, it means tourism benefits everyone, not just businesses, but the environment and traditions as well. Ban. A royal legacy of compassion. Bhutan's royal family remains beloved and deeply respected. The kings, known as the Dragon Kings, are seen not as distant rulers, but as moral guides. When the fourth king introduced democracy in 2008, he did it voluntarily, believing that true happiness comes from shared responsibility. The fifth king continues that vision, focusing on youth empowerment, environmental protection, and modernization with values intact. It's rare to find leadership so genuinely rooted in empathy. To live in Bhutan is to live in balance between old and new, spiritual and practical, personal and collective. The rest of the world measures success through numbers and profit. Bhutan measures it through smiles, harmony, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing that enough is truly enough. It's not a utopia. It's a reminder. A reminder that happiness isn't found in skyscrapers or luxury cars, but in purpose, gratitude, and connection, the very things Bhutan protects so carefully. Maybe that's why the land of the Thunder Dragon still feels like a breath of peace in a noisy world.